Tonight on CTV News at 6. Searching for a second murder suspect. Police in Sudbury are asking the public for help following a tent fire in June. Plus, something for everyone who enjoys music.
We really want to support emerging acts, but we also want to introduce your new favorite band.
Northern Lights Festival Boreál is back this weekend in Sudbury. And the sweet taste of a summer tradition.
I've been doing this since the kids are born. My oldest are 38.
Strawberry picking is in full swing at Northern Farms.
CTV News at 6 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Greater Sudbury Police are seeking the public's assistance. They're looking to locate a second suspect believed to be involved in a fatal tent fire at the Energy Court homeless encampment in mid-June. Police have released a picture of the suspect and confirm one other man has been arrested in relation to the murder and arson. CTV's Alana Everson reports.
Police say this man, Brian Schwab, is wanted for suspected involvement in a murder and arson at Energy Court.
Based on the active investigation into the homicide that occurred at Energy Court on June 11th that claimed the life of a 41-year-old man, we were requesting the public's assistance to locate 31-year-old Brian Schwab, who is wanted on an outstanding arrest warrant for first-degree murder, possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose, and arson.
This was a scene after emergency services responded to two tents on fire at 3:40 in the morning, June 11th. After extinguishing the fires, the victim was located inside a tent. Police are not releasing his name out of respect for his next of kin. Police confirm several people were seen fleeing from the tents shortly after the fire began. One suspect, Brendan Gramling McEwen, was arrested 6 days later and faces several charges, including murder and arson.
It is an active and ongoing investigation, and detectives continue to investigate it to ensure that anybody involved is held accountable. So anyone with information related to the incident is asked to contact police if you have not already spoken to a detective.
Greater Sudbury Police say officers continue to follow up on investigative leads and any new information to ensure a thorough investigation. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's been a tense day on Manitoulin Island. Reports of an armed suspect on Hall Street prompted police to declare a shelter-in-place order in Chaging First Nation on the island this morning. Police are asking motorists to avoid the area, and they say that drivers should not pick up hitchhikers. Almost $29,000 in drugs has been seized following a string of drug busts in Echo Bay, Bruce Mines, and Sault Ste. Marie. According to Sault Ste. Marie police, detectives found 288 grams of suspected cocaine, several rounds of ammunition, brass knuckles, 2 vehicles, and almost $45,000 in Canadian cash. A 30-year-old from Echo Bay, a 28-year-old, and a 25-year-old, both from Sault Ste. Marie, are facing several charges. Fire safety is so important during these hot, dry summer days, and the Ministry of Natural Resources is asking for the public's help identifying those who started a wildland fire last month. It happened east of Highway 144 at Johnson Lake, that's north of Cartier, on June 27th. Conservation officers were alerted to a wildland fire that had originated from a campfire that had not been fully extinguished. The MNR says firefighters were able to quickly extinguish the fire before it spread out of control. Anyone with information is asked to call the ministry tips line or Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, conservation officers are looking for the public's help in finding who removed a research net from Gooley Bay. According to the Ministry of Natural Resources, a gill net had been set in the water as part of a lake sturgeon research project. Between 11:51 a.m. on July 1st and 8:30 the following morning, the net was removed. It was also marked with large yellow floats labeled Department of Fisheries and Oceans Scientific Equipment. One of the new Ontario Northland trains was involved in a collision with a truck. It happened in Bracebridge yesterday afternoon. Ontario Northland has confirmed to CTV News there were no injuries aboard the train. The truck driver had minor injuries. The train was in the process of staff onboarding and training before full passenger service. Lights were reportedly activated at the time of the collision. The city of Sault Ste. Marie will decide on Monday if it wants to put money into a significant infrastructure project on the water. The latest endeavor to bring a deep-sea port to the shores of the St. Mary's River has been of major importance to Sault Ste. Marie's mayor. It's been in discussion for decades, but recently has been pushed to the forefront given the current climate, like significant job losses from Algoma Steel and nation-building projects by the federal government. The city has put in applications to the federal and provincial government for funding on the $250 million project.
I want them to know when they're looking at the funding pots who's serious about their projects and who isn't. And that's why I've proposed that we put up to $50 million, and that could be done in any number of ways. There's tax increment grants that could be done. There's grants directly from the Economic Development Fund. We could contribute land to the project. So it's not that we will necessarily be writing a $15 million check. It's that we will be putting $15 million of value into the project.
The two-slip port could bring up to 1,800 jobs in the construction phase and 2,400 long-term positions to the city. Time now for our first check on weather, and everyone wants to know what's in store for the weekend. With a look ahead, let's bring in CTV's Tony Rima.
Plenty of sunshine, Marina. That's what's ahead for this weekend. Good evening, everyone. Our first weather. We're going to start with our weather alerts. Air quality warning in through Rouyn-Noranda and northern Quebec, and that's because of the forest fires in that area. I got off the phone with Jeff Warner from 80 Creek Gardens in Englehart, and he told me he could smell the smoke from those forest fires, so it is reaching our broadcast region. There's a heat warning behind me, but for the most part, skies are going to clear come the weekend. As we take a look at our forecast radar, we have pockets of activity, but for the most part, clear skies, above seasonal temperatures, and a lot of sunshine. Your current temperatures are still ahead. Marina.
Well, that's good news, Tony, as it's peak strawberry season across the Northeast, and fields are packed with eager pickers filling their baskets to the brim. CTV's Eric Tashner has more on this year's harvest at Leisure Farms in Sturgeon Falls.
Row on row, the Robinson Hodsons are scouring.
I even bring the grandkids when they're in town.
Finding ripe and ready strawberries. It's a yearly summer family tradition.
So I've been doing this since the kids are born. My oldest are 38. We did this, and they were even on the pamphlet. They got a picture of them eating them.
The 4 fields at Leisure Farms are jam-packed with pickers, looking for the plumpest, reddest, and most importantly,
chew it up,
the tastiest berries.
I like that they're nice and fresh and they're sweet. They're very good for you and they taste good.
While there is no perfect formula to get the best strawberries, after a long winter with good snow cover,
the snow maintained throughout the entire winter, which is what you're looking for because it acts like insulation and it protects the plants from freezing too much.
Then with a wet, cool spring and hot summer right off the hop, farmers say it's led to a good growth with berries ripening rather quickly. Leisure Farms' season started June 29th.
But right now is perfect conditions for picking.
I'm going to do jam and I'll make a pie, but I'm going to try strawberry lemonade, like concentrate. I'm going to can it.
The 4 weeks of strawberry season is one of the busiest times of the year for Leisure Farms. With raspberry season starting right after, customers don't mind having to come from near or far for the freshest berries around.
I do also come back for the raspberries, and I do raspberry jam, jellies.
Meaning this tasty commodity might be the perfect ingredient for a sweet summer treat.
Probably gonna make pie, maybe shortcake, strawberry shortcake, ice cream.
But you'll have to get them before they're all gone.
Pick some good ones.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, Sturgeon Falls.
Nothing like fresh strawberries. Those look good. Still to come here on CTV News at 6. A city councillor who's been serving Sudbury for 20 years is hanging up her hat. We catch up with her. Plus a big donation to the Hospital Foundation in Timmins from an area mine.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The longest-serving city councillor in Greater Sudbury has decided to hang up her hat. CTV's Madison Merrier spoke with Jocelyn Landry Altman about her 20-year political career coming to an end.
Jocelyn Landry Altman ran in 2006 and became the first councillor for Ward 12. She told CTV News she felt she had to do something to address public safety as an individual was badly assaulted on the stairs near St. Anne's Road.
I thought this was a safety issue, so contacted the people that needed to be contacted and felt that not enough was being done. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. And I did. So what we did from there is we proceeded to address the safety issues. There's now cameras up here.
She announced her retirement in O'Connor Park, saying she has now fulfilled her promises and can look back satisfied on the work with the community, as well as previous and current councils.
Along the way, you make promises, and along the way, you should keep your promises. And if you don't believe in what you're saying, then you shouldn't say it. I said it, I did it, done.
Landry Altman says she'll still be in the community she loves and jokes about watching her successor. And she reminds them to continue working with the community as they share the same goal.
People may be coming from different perspectives, but the agenda is always the same. I can say that about every councillor that I have worked, every council member that I have worked with. Ultimately, the goal is always to make it better. And that's without a doubt. Sans doute.
Success for me, and I'm sure for most councillors, is that, and all councillors for that matter, is that I leave it better than it was. And I think that's with Jocelyn, that's definitely the case with respect to the city as well as Ward 12. So I think that's mission accomplished.
Landry Altman joins the other 4 councillors who decided to step away from ward re-election this October. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Sault Ste. Marie's municipal landfill has just over 2 years left on its lifespan, and Monday, Council will prepare for its expansion. In March, City Council voted against privatizing its aging landfill, but they didn't decide on what to do with the facility. The total price tag was estimated to cost roughly $95 million, with just under $40 million towards expanding the landfill. The remaining $56 million would cover a biosolid and source-separated organics facility. The city currently has $16 million set aside to cover some of these costs.
We've been mandated by the provincial government to do organic curbside pickup. We've been mandated to create biosolids waste facility, and so all of that is adding to our municipal tax pressures. And so we want to see how other municipalities are coping with it and paying for it, and because otherwise it's all going to end up as a mandated service that's going to end up in the budget.
I think it affects everybody, so everyone should be in favor of this. The only hold back all the time is who's going to pay for it. We could all help pay for it by reducing our consumption in the first place.
At the next council meeting, city staff will be asked to prepare a report to allow the next council to have all the necessary information as it decides on paying for the work on Fifth Line. A $350,000 donation has been made to the Timmins and District Hospital Foundation. Lakeshore Gold with Pan American Silver is behind the gift to support the foundation's Reimagining Healthcare campaign. The $30 million campaign covers everything from the hospital's new emergency department to funding for priority medical equipment. Campaign Director Dave McLaughlin says community support is critical to the project's success.
The reality of hospitals anywhere is that we have to rely on both government support and donor support as well. So in terms of our hospital, out of the $30 million, we are responsible for $20 million for the new emergency department redevelopment, and the remaining 10 will go towards equipment hospital-wide, specifically MRI, CT scan, and nuclear medicine.
And the foundation hopes to complete its $30 million campaign by the end of next year. Back we go to Tony now for a check on the current conditions this Friday evening. So, Tony, is it a nice start to the weekend?
Marina, it's a glorious start to the weekend. Plenty of sunshine right across the broadcast region. Why don't we check out our current temperatures? And it should be about 24, 25 degrees as a daytime high right across northeastern Ontario. Timmins, a mix of sun and cloud at this point, 24 degrees. Same temperature in through Cochrane. Moosonee, a little cooler, but plenty of sunshine. Cap, also 24 degrees. In through Chapleau, beautiful sunshine for the most part, 25 degrees, a little cooler in Wawa, right along Lake Superior there. As we head south into Sault Ste. Marie, 25 degrees. The Sioux's the place to be, isn't it? Look at Perry Sound, 26 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud at this point. Great opportunity to get out and maybe go for a walk. In through North Bay, a mix of sun and cloud, 25 degrees. In through Temiskaming Shores, a little cooler, 22. For Kirkland Lake, we're coming in at 23 degrees. For Sudbury, well, 25 degrees. That's spot on temperature-wise. This weekend, much the same type of conditions. We'll get to that in our 7-day weather forecast. For Espanola, glorious sunshine, 26. For Elliott Lake, also 26 degrees. And on Manitoulin Island, 26 degrees. Beautiful sunshine. It looks like a great Friday evening to maybe cut your grass or go for a walk or head to the beach. All of your 7-day weather forecast right ahead. Marina.
All right, glorious indeed. Thanks for that, Tony. Next on CTV News at 6. High gas prices force Canadians to rethink their summer road trip budgets. We'll have reaction. Plus, should California wine be back on the shelves at the LCBO? A major Canada-U.S. border crossing is finally ready to open. The news is according to the Associated Press. The Gordie Howe International Bridge is expected to welcome traffic by late July. A ribbon-cutting ceremony scheduled for early June was postponed over unresolved issues between Canada and U.S. officials. The delay followed Donald Trump's previous threats to block the bridge's opening. The nearly 2.5-kilometer stretch spans the Detroit River, connecting the Motor City with Windsor, Ontario. The crossing provides a new route for travelers and commercial trucks. Prime Minister Mark Carney is on his way back to Canada after a visit to Saudi Arabia centered around rebuilding relations.
Engagement can be effective. It doesn't mean it's always effective. It doesn't mean it's decisive, but it can be effective. We care deeply about human rights. We care deeply about self-determination.
During the visit, the two countries signed 13 deals in areas like education, mining, and security. Prime Minister Carney also met with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He says he did raise the issue of human rights with the Crown Prince, but called it a private conversation. In defending the visit, Prime Minister Carney said engagement is not endorsement. This was the first visit to Saudi Arabia by a Canadian Prime Minister in 26 years. U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran wants to continue peace talks, and Washington has agreed to do so, but with one big caveat. In a post on Truth Social today, Trump warned Tehran that in no uncertain terms, the ceasefire is over. Trump's message came hours after the burial of Iran's supreme leader. Terrifying moments to share with you now. They happened on a Ryanair flight out of Greece. That's where witnesses say a man was nearly sucked out of the plane window when the window detached in midair. Another passenger told a Greek radio station the man's head and shoulders were outside the window. Thankfully, he was wearing his seatbelt, and other passengers managed to pull him back in. Authorities say his injuries were minor and the plane landed normally. Pearson International Airport in Toronto is warning passengers about a spike in AI-generated articles that are full of misinformation. An airport spokesperson says clickbait sites are using bots to write articles with inaccurate information about a flight's status, delays, and cancellations. They say some bot authors publish over 100 articles a day and that there are no attempts to verify the information. Pearson officials say passengers should rely on their airlines for direct, accurate communication, and people can also visit Pearson's website for detailed information. If you have travel plans for this weekend, you're likely paying close attention to gas prices, which surged today in many parts of the country. But the weekend outlook may surprise you. With the latest, here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
North of Toronto, motorists headed for cottage country were frustrated the price to fill up has once again gone up.
Of course it's not good. What can we do? There's nothing we can control, right?
Overnight, gas surging about 5 cents a liter.
It's very expensive, but I know that there's issues right now in the world.
For Brian Comart, it's making it more costly to haul his trailer from Chatham, Ontario to Algonquin Park.
I bet you the whole trip's going to be the $400 of gas. Easy.
Across the country, prices were up, back to nearly $2 in Vancouver for regular unleaded, while the national average is around $1.72. And if you thought the resumption of hostilities between the U.S. and Iran this week will push prices up further, forecaster Dan McTagg says they're actually headed down this weekend.
It's dropping 2 cents a liter on Saturday and likely 3 or 4 cents a liter on Sunday. That's counterintuitive to economic fundamentals. A shortage and high demand means prices go up, not down.
In fact, the price for oil hasn't jumped as much as one might have expected. West Texas Intermediate crude started the week at $69 U.S. a barrel and did surge to $76 after the U.S. president declared the ceasefire was over, but it's since fallen to around $71. Experts say the market so far has essentially learned to shrug off the conflict.
I think the new normal is that we're going to see skirmishes from time to time between Iran and the U.S., interspersed with periods of relative calm, allowing tankers to enter the Persian Gulf, load crude oil, and then depart.
But McTagg thinks prices could jump by the end of the month as the U.S. continues to draw down on its strategic reserve of oil.
We might be getting temporarily a reprieve in the short term, but the long term will be higher prices for an extended period of time.
And there is one more wild card, the hurricane season. Experts say if a major storm were to hit U.S. refineries on the Gulf Coast, that would put further price pressure at the pumps here. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
As a U.S. Senator attempts to get Canada to reconsider its American booze boycott, Ontario winemakers say the move made last year at the height of the trade war has helped spike demand for their products. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
It's been 16 months since California wines and other American-made booze was boxed up at the LCBO. A hit back against tariffs.
How are you?
A game changer for Ontario winemakers. This vineyard in Jordan on the Niagara Escarpment has seen sales in the LCBO shoot up 600%.
Every dollar that's been spent on an Ontario wine and on a Westcott wine has gone right back into the province of Ontario.
The spike in demand so steep, Westcott's planning an expansion and has planted more vines.
We are leaning into this and expect our business to continue to grow, whether those products come back or not.
There's new pressure from American lawmakers this week to return U.S. alcohol to Canadian shelves. From New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, accusing Canada of unfair trade practices. And California Senator Adam Schiff, he says the bans are creating devastating harm. In a World Series wager last fall, California's governor appealed right to the premier.
I think you can put it on the liquor store shelves.
I don't think so, buddy. Talk to your friend in the Oval Office.
An advocacy group for California wineries says U.S. exports to Canada have plummeted, down 78%. A former trade advisor to Prime Minister Harper says unwinding the ban is tricky.
I think it's unfortunate that provincial premiers are taking action that impacts our entire country on behalf of their provinces, and it's my view that they're overstepping their jurisdiction.
Doug Ford has been unwilling to budge.
I just want to get this deal done, and then we'll put that booze back on the shelves.
At Westcott, Hearst doesn't see wine drinkers rushing to uncork at California Red.
The relationship between Canada and the U.S. has changed, and I just don't think that we're going back to business as usual.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Well, there's more news ahead, but first let's get to your full weather forecast with Tony Rima and some very toasty days to come. Is that right, Tony.
That's right, Marina. It's going to be warm. Temperature is not as warm as last week, but still, they're getting up there. That air quality warning is still in effect in through western Quebec, Rouyn-Noranda, along with northern Quebec because of all the wildfires in that area. Behind me, there's a heat warning for northwestern Ontario in through Dryden, along with Kenora. But our temperatures aren't all that bad. Let's take a look at our systems map. Right now, we have a low pressure system, and it is slowly moving out of our broadcast region. And in behind it, there is going to crop up a trough. Wait for it. There it is. And it's going to be sliding in. Temperature's still going to be above seasonal, but that will provide the cloud cover and the odd shower or two. Overnight, this is what you can expect. For Sudbury, clearing skies, 14 degrees, double digits overnight. Sault Ste. Marie, beautiful, clear. Much the same in through Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, clearing skies. For North Bay, just a few clouds out there. Moosonee, this is what you can expect. Beautiful, below double digits overnight, 7 degrees, clear. Great for sleeping, isn't it? In through Cappenhurst, 12 degrees. Wawa, 11, clearing skies. Gore Bay, still on the warm side, 17 degrees, clearing. And in through Parry Sound, there is a chance of some shower activity coming in at 15 degrees. All right, here's your 7-day weather forecast. Let's start with Sudbury Nickel Belt. Tomorrow, on the warm side, should be 25 degrees, ticking up to 28. Same temperature on Sunday. What a beautiful weekend. On Monday, increasing cloud cover, and then we're going to get some rain, even warmer on Tuesday. And the rest of the week, plenty of sunshine, spot on Friday. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, sunshine, 29 degrees. Then we start to get the odd shower or two. That happens Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, some clearing, and much the same midweek and later on next week. On Friday, 25 degrees when it should be 24 as a daytime high. For Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing, tomorrow, 29 degrees on Sunday, 27 on Saturday. Temperature gets even warmer on Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, we start to see a little bit more sunshine. On Friday, well, 24 degrees, spot on this time of year. As we head on over to Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, nothing but sunshine for this weekend, and that's great because on Monday, the temperature, well, still comfortable, 29 degrees, but there is a chance of rain. Gets even warmer in through Tuesday, and lots of sunshine the rest of the week. And finally, folks, your 7-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing. Tomorrow, well, beautiful sunshine, 27 degrees, gets even warmer on Sunday. Some clouds roll in. There is a chance of some rain. Tuesday, the temperature ticks up to 30 degrees with the humidity. It'll feel like 32, 33 degrees Celsius. And the rest of the week into Friday, beautiful sunshine. And our picture of the day comes to us from Jill Towsley, and it's of a sunrise. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And this was taken near Iroquois Falls. Thanks so much, Jill. We'd love to see your pictures, and you can send them in to us by emailing us at weather.pictures@bellmedia.ca. And folks, that's your 7-day weather forecast. Stick around. There's more news still ahead.
We have an update to one of our top stories tonight. Provincial police have lifted the shelter in place in Chaging First Nation on Manitoulin Island. That had been in place since this morning due to an armed suspect. You can read more on this story by going to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. Health officials are monitoring for a parasite which has appeared in Michigan but has yet to make its way north of the border. U.S. officials say the parasite has impacted more than 1,200 people, leaving them with severe diarrhea. They have not determined an exact cause but suspect it may have come from contaminated food. Health officials are urging people to make sure they wash all of their fruits and vegetables thoroughly. New figures show barely 1 in 4 kids on Ontario's autism waitlist get funding, a number that hasn't budged for years. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the program is administered by a private company, and parents are pushing it to free up resources by scaling back what they're calling a Make Work project.
8-year-old Emma Wheel is an energetic and playful kid.
Look it!
Emma has cystic fibrosis and autism. Her mom, Danielle, says Emma has just been moved from a wait list to receive annual funding for care. Great news, but her other 2 sisters also have autism and they're still waiting.
It's exhausting. It's frustrating. And it just seems like it's barrier after barrier being put up.
Her family mirrors the situation province-wide. According to provincial quarterly reports, fewer than 1 in 4 kids on that waitlist get funding, a number that's trended worse than last year, despite a funding increase of around $186 million.
It always stays around 23%. So we're assuming that that increase in funding mostly goes to administration.
The waitlist is managed by a private company, Acerta, which the data says fell well short of its targets by thousands of kids. Acerta's headquarters were recently targeted by striking members of public sector union OPSU. Their report says the company's payments from Ontario tripled to more than $670 million in 2024.
So the question that we have for this government is, are you renewing that contract, or are you actually going to take that money and reinvest it in the front lines directly where it belongs?
One specific example of potential waste that parents are highlighting are lengthy meetings to determine care needs of a child that happen every year for every child. A briefing note to the ministry from 2023 says these meetings are longer than initially planned and can take up to 4 to 5 hours, a commitment that would require dozens of staff over the more than 20,000 kids in care.
So we've been asking for them to pull back and not have this as an annual process, thereby opening up more determination of needs slot for children to come off the wait list.
Acerta stands by its program, saying we provide specialized expertise and modern technology that helps distribute public funds for critical social services to those who need them most as quickly and efficiently as possible. The government says it's reduced the length of these interviews, adding we continue to explore a range of initiatives aimed at streamlining processes for families enrolled in OAP core clinical services, reducing burden and improving the overall family experience.
We need to seriously re-examine why we're having to wait this long.
Wheel says she hopes the issues are solved to get her other kids funding more quickly, and so she won't face 3 times as many meetings. John Woodward, CTV News.
Lupus is called the great imitator because of its wide-ranging symptoms. But supporters will be out in full force this weekend in the Toronto area for an annual fundraising walk. CTV's Pauline Chan has more.
Basketball was not fun anymore, so I went from point guard to bench warmer.
Andrea Ohingwan had been an athletic child, but in 1989 she was diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disorder sometimes known as the disease of 1,000 faces because it has such a range of potential symptoms.
When the immune system attacks itself, maybe it's manifested in your kidneys, so it can be labeled as a kidney disease, or if it happens to be in your heart, it can create inflammation around your heart, and that could be seen as cardiac disease.
Lupus is typically affecting women more than men, and particularly women during their reproductive years, and it disproportionately affects women from certain racial and ethnic groups.
90% of patients are women, although men and children can also be affected, and Black, Latino, and Chinese groups are disproportionately represented. Andrea's symptoms range from fever to numerous body aches to hallucinations and hair loss. She manages now with medications and a careful lifestyle.
Lupus used to be known as a fatal disease. It's no longer that.
And this weekend, she'll be part of the annual Walk for Lupus Ontario, raising funds for patient support and the Jeff Carr Research Fellowship.
It's a fellowship granted to someone, a doctor who is focusing on lupus.
Dr. Sabrina Hundal says while certain medications remain staples of lupus treatment, the rise of biologics is offering new hope for patients.
The Lupus Walk in Toronto is scheduled for tomorrow, but there are more walks scheduled across the province for the rest of the summer. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still ahead here on CTV News at 6, our friends over at Pure Country Radio sit down with Canadian country music singer Hayley Benedict ahead of an upcoming show in Sudbury. Stay with us. FIFA Fever hits North Bay tomorrow as part of World Cup festivities across the country. Canada celebrates the FIFA World Cup 2026, begins at 3 p.m., co-hosted by Canadore College and Nipissing University. Tourism North Bay says it's free, family-friendly, and a public one-day official fan experience. Programming includes activities, photo opportunities, a beer garden, and soccer challenges. Viewing of the semi-final games are set for 3 and 9 p.m. so fans can take in the big screen action. And by the way, in today's quarterfinal match at the FIFA World Cup, Spain came out on top over Belgium with a final score of 2-1. Canada's longest continuously running outdoor music festival is taking over Sudbury this weekend. The Northern Lights Festival Boreál features dozens of artists, interactive workshops, and activities for the entire family. More from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
Crews are putting the final touches on the 54th annual Northern Lights Festival Boreál. By the time the weekend wraps up, organizers estimate between 9,000 and 11,000 music lovers will filter through Bell Park.
We have a fantastic lineup. We have great workshops. Volunteers have come out in droves to support the festival and be here, and yeah, so everything's shaping up to be a fantastic festival.
History is being made this year with an all-female headlining roster. Organizers say it's just one piece of an incredibly diverse lineup with 35 artists from a wide range of backgrounds.
We have 20% Francophone, 20% Indigenous. We have African American performers. We have LGBTQ+.
We're always trying to catch artists that are just breaking through. So trying to book them and then they start getting recognized from that point is very exciting, because we really want to support emerging acts, but we also want to introduce your new favorite bands.
While names like Dan Mangan, Foxwarn, and Logan Stats will draw big crowds, the festival is also a launch pad for unexpected sounds. One of those bands is the Montreal-based art pop trio By Perula. This is their first time playing the festival, where they'll perform tracks from their new album, Something Out of Nothing.
I think it resonates because we have fun. We are friends, we're family, we have fun on stage, we love what we do, so I think this is like when it resonates with people in front of you, they are dancing, they are having fun, that's the best way.
Beyond the music, this year's festival is expanding its footprint with new workshops and a petting zoo. Organizers say there is a daily offering of a pay-what-you-can option from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. to encourage a crowd. The Northern Lights Festival Boreál runs until Sunday. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
And country music fans are getting excited for the Dallas Smith concert coming up in Sudbury next week. Haley Benedict will be opening the show, and Coop with Pure Country Radio chatted with her about the upcoming stop in the Nickel City.
Well, we love a good country concert in Sudbury, and there is a good one on the way for Thursday, July 16th. Grace Harmon Amphitheater in Sudbury, as Dallas Smith is making his return to Sudbury. And he's not coming alone. No, Rob Fitzgerald's going to open up the night along with Haley Benedict, who's actually joining us, award-winning country artist from Alberta. She's actually zooming in from Edmonton. Haley, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to come out to Sudbury.
I have to ask, have you been to Sudbury before? I know we're chatting. You're in Edmonton right now. Have you been to the Nickel City before?
I have not. No, this will be my first time. So any recommendations for what to do while we're there also, let me know.
Okay, there you go. Might have to use social media, have some fun with that. But I'm going to rhyme off a few things, okay? CCMA Award winner, 5-time nominee, 2025 nominee for Female Artist of the Year, 2023 Sirius XM Top of the Country winner. When I say all of those things, how does that feel to you, and how your career has really progressed?
I mean, pretty surreal. I started singing when I was 6 years old, and so I've always just done music because of the love for it and connecting with people. So getting to have some of these accolades along the way has been really special. But the thing that's always been the coolest part is getting to connect with people. And I'm a music lover first and a music fan first. So I mean, it's such a cool career to be able to get to kind of have this universal language to be able to connect with people. So that's my favorite part of it all.
Well, we're excited to see what you bring to the stage at the Grace Harmon Amphitheater in Sudbury. Real quick, tell us about your performance, what people can expect in your show.
Yeah, so we've kind of got a lot of brand new music that this summer that we've put into the set, which is really exciting. And then we've got things like Things My Mama Says, of course. And then I also have a little bit of a rock leaning edge too. So I play the electric guitar, so you can bet on some solos, some guitar harmonies, and just a great time just getting to hopefully warm up that stage for our good friend Dallas Smith, who's gonna rock everybody's socks off. It's gonna be great.
Haley Benedict is going to be opening up for Dallas Smith. Tickets for the show still available, by the way. Go to greatersudbury.ca/tickets. Get those tickets. It's going to be a great time under the stars at Ramsey Lake, or you can head to our website as well, purecountry917.ca. Haley Benedict, we look forward to seeing you in the Nickel City. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. We'll see you there.
All right, thanks for that interview, Coop. And it's over to movie news now. From a fan favorite franchise to a sequel for an Oscar winner, here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Report.
This is the time to show them everything. Make sure they remember you.
The whole Hunger Games franchise is returning to theaters. Each of the first 5 films is set to screen for one night each, beginning September 3rd. Every screening will include a sneak peek at the latest entry, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, opening November 20th. More info at fathomentertainment.com.
We had a lovely natural chemistry.
Liam Neeson's next film has a new title and a release date. The Fix, formerly titled Hotel Tehran, is due out September 11th. Neeson plays the mentor to a team of CIA operatives attempting a daring rescue. The official teaser is out for Godzilla Minus Zero, the sequel to 2023's Oscar-winning Godzilla Minus One. The King of the Monsters returns to theaters November 6th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you've purchased beef within the last decade or so, you may soon be eligible for a payment. Proposed settlements worth $8 million have been reached in class action lawsuits. According to the suit's counsel, multiple beef companies are alleged to have taken part in an unlawful conspiracy regarding the supply and/or price of beef sold in Canada. The class action is asking for the extra money the companies received to be returned. How much each person could be paid is still to be decided, but one company, JBS, has agreed to pay over $7 million and National Beef about $500,000. BC and Quebec courts will decide on fair settlements later this year. The unemployment rate in Canada was down slightly for the month of June thanks to the FIFA World Cup, and more young people are finding summer jobs. BNN Bloomberg's Matt Scooby has more.
Statistics Canada says the economy added 18,000 jobs last month, mostly in part-time and private sector work. Now, that led to a small dip in the unemployment rate to 6.5%. Economists pointing to young people taking advantage of the openings of bars and hotels when Canada hosted World Cup games. Now, it wasn't all good news. Manufacturing shed 17,000 positions as tariffs continue to weigh on that sector. The Bank of Canada will use the report as its final barometer of the economy ahead of next week's interest rate decision. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar up 8 cents to finish at 70.64 US. West Texas Intermediate off 67 cents, ending at 71.60 a barrel. Western Canadian Select also down slightly to 57.39. And the TSX had a modest gain of 105 points to end the week at 35,305. Those are your business headlines. I'm Matt Scooby.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $3.78, closing the day at $41.1975 US an ounce. Silver down 9 cents, copper down a penny, and nickel down 3 cents, ending the day at $7.46 US a pound. Back we go to Tony now for one last look at the weather and everything you need to know for Saturday.
Marina, it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. Let's take a look at our forecast. Lots of egg yolks on the board here. Sudbury, 26 degrees, beautiful sunshine. In through Timmins, it's going to be even warmer, 27. Sault Ste. Marie, 29. Add the Humidex, it'll feel more like 32 degrees, a great beach day, I think. In through North Bay, 26 degrees, sunshine. Parry Sound, sunny and 28, and 26 for Temiskaming Shores. Marina.
Well, that is great weather for our final story tonight. Yes, the Greater Sudbury community of Lively ready to have some fun in the sun and celebration this weekend because it's Lively's 75th anniversary. So great weather for that. A number of free celebrations are going on throughout the community starting tonight. The community of Lively formed in 1951 as a community for Creighton miners before it eventually joined Walden in 1973 and amalgamated into the city of Greater Sudbury February in 2001. Activities throughout the weekend include something for all ages, and of course, the town's history will be on full display.
Tight-knit community, and it's something that's been around for, again, 75 years now, and it's a big milestone, so we want to really celebrate it and have everybody come together and kind of explore that history together.
A lot of people I've talked to around town, we're expecting anywhere from 500,000 people. Some people say even 1,500 to 2,000 with all the different events, not just at one event. That's through 2 days of different events, it'll be quite a few people.
Celebration runs until July 12th. Organizers say people are welcome for a weekend of live music, local heritage, and a whole town of celebration, including a parade and a classic car show. You can visit lively75th.ca if you'd like some more information on all that's happening. That is all the time we have here on CTV News at 6. Ian Campbell is in at 11:30 tonight with your late local news. Thanks for watching. Have a fun and safe weekend, especially if you're heading to celebrate Lively. Good night.